Sir, this is the skull. This upper and posterior part containing the cranial cavity is the calvarium, while the antero-inferior part forms the facial skeleton. The forehead is formed by the frontal bone. Behind the frontal, these are right and left parietal bones. Posterior-inferiorly, this is the occipital bone. The lateral part is mainly formed by the temporal bone. Anterior to it lies the greater wing of sphenoid bone in the depth and the zygomatic bone superficially with the zygomatic arc. At a little higher plane, these are the frontal, parietal and occipital bones. In the frontal view, these are the two orbital cavities, two nasal cavities and the alveolar margin for the teeth. Inside the nasal cavities, these are middle and inferior nasal conchae. The inferior nasal conchae are independent bones. The prominence of the cheek is formed by the zygomatic bone and the medial part of the cheek by maxillary bone. The prominence of the forehead is frontal eminence or frontal tuber, and these are superciliary arcs meeting at the glabella. At the root of the nose, these are the two nasal bones, then the two lacrimal bones behind the lacrimal grooves, and then the ethmoidal bones. In the posterior view, this is the external occipital protuberance in the lower part of the midline with superior nuchal lines running laterally. This midline crest below it is the external occipital crest with inferior nuchal lines running laterally, right and left. And above the protuberance, very faint highest nuchal lines. Sir, this is the coronal suture, the sagittal suture and the lambdoid suture. They meet at bregma and lambda. Laterally, this H-shaped union of four bones, frontal, parietal, temporal and sphenoid, is termed as pterion. Around the sphenoid bone, we see frontosphenoidal, parietosphenoidal, temporosphenoidal and zygomaticosphenoidal sutures. Around the temporal bone, we see temporosphenoidal, parietotemporal or parietosquamous and occipitotemporal or occipitomastoid sutures. Around the zygomatic bone, we see frontozygomatic, zygomaticotemporal, zygomaticomaxillary and zygomaticosphenoidal sutures. Anteriorly, this is frontozygomatic suture, frontomaxillary suture and frontonasal suture, and this T-junction is the nasion. Sir, viewing the skull from below, that is norma basalis, this is the alveolar margin of maxilla with 16 sockets for the upper teeth. The alveolar margin encloses the hard palate which separates the nasal cavity from the oral cavity. The hard palate is formed by the right and left maxilla anteriorly and the palatine bones posteriorly. These are the right and left posterior nasal apertures with the vomer bone in the midline of the roof. Laterally, this is the pterygoid process of the sphenoid bone, which has a medial pterygoid plate, a lateral pterygoid plate with pterygoid fossa between them. Further laterally, this is the greater wing of sphenoid with inferior surface of the maxilla anteriorly, separated by inferior orbital fissure which continues downwards as the pterygomaxillary fissure. Proximally above the vomer, this is the body of the sphenoid, and then the basilar part of the occipital bone with a small elevation in midline called the pharyngeal tubercle. Lateral to it, this is the petrous part of the temporal bone and the greater wing of sphenoid. Further laterally, this is the zygomatic arc. Its anterior and posterior roots spread along the mandibular fossa, which forms the temporomandibular joint. Next to it is the external acoustic meatus and the mastoid process. Medial to the mastoid process, this slender bony process is the styloid process. In the midline in posterior third, this large opening connecting the cranial cavity to the spinal canal is the foramen magnum. Anteriorly, these are occipital condyles which articulate with the superior condyles of the first cervical vertebra, and lateral to each occipital condyle is the jugular fossa. Behind the foramen magnum, the midline shows external occipital crest and external occipital protuberance, and these are the inferior and superior nuchal lines. Sir, on the external surface of the base of the skull, this is the foramen magnum for medulla and cerebellar tonsils, the stylomastoid foramen between styloid process and mastoid for facial nerve, hypoglossal canal under the occipital condyles for hypoglossal nerve, jugular foramen in the jugular fossa for internal jugular vein and 9, 10, 11 nerves, inferior opening of the carotid canal for internal carotid artery, foramen lacerum at the apex of petrous temporal bone for meningeal branch of ascending pharyngeal artery, foramen ovale and foramen spinosum on the inferior surface of greater wing of sphenoid, foramen ovale for the mandibular division of trigeminal nerve and foramen spinosum for middle meningeal artery, and the inferior orbital fissure for maxillary division of trigeminal nerve. On the hard palate, this is greater palatine foramen and groove and two tiny lesser palatine foramina on the pyramidal process for greater and lesser palatine artery and nerves. And the incisive fossa has lateral incisive foramina for the terminal branches of the greater palatine artery. Sir, on the front side, that is norma frontalis, this is infraorbital foramen for infraorbital nerve and vessels. In the orbit, posteromedially, this is the round opening of the optic canal for optic nerve. Lateral to it, between the roof and lateral wall, this is superior orbital fissure for third, fourth and sixth nerves and ophthalmic division of the fifth nerve. Below it is the inferior orbital fissure for maxillary division of the fifth nerve. It is connected anteriorly through the infraorbital groove to the infraorbital canal which opens at the infraorbital foramen. Anteromedially in the orbit, this is a deep groove, the lacrimal groove for lacrimal sac. Inferiorly, it continues as the nasolacrimal canal and opens into the nasal cavity. And at the upper margin of the orbit, this is supraorbital foramen, sometimes only a notch, for supraorbital nerve and vessels.